Right now, you're listening to the Azeem Digital Asks podcast, the podcast where I, Azeem, talk to some of the top marketers in the industry, find out everything about them, how they got to where they are today, and more importantly, sharing some really useful marketing tips that will help everybody listening to this become better marketers. Stay tuned for another great episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Azeem Digital Asks podcast. I am really excited for my guest today. You obviously know who she is because you've clicked on the episode. So the official introduction I will give to her is a little bit from her Twitter and her website. She is the SEO Twitter flame, Kristina Azarenko, Toronto-based SEO consultant. She provides e-commerce SEO, technical SEO, website migrations, and Google Analytics consulting so that you can finally get what you're looking for. Kristina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Yeah, I see that you've definitely looked for my Twitter and website.
So that was your official introduction. The unofficial introduction is that some listeners know, but some listeners might not know that we are good friends, right? And it is a measure of how successful Kristina is that it has been very hard to tie this woman down to get her on this podcast. So I sent her a Christmas card saying, in 2021, you are going to be a guest on the podcast. And we've made it happen in less than a couple of months. So I'm very proud of that. So thank you very much. But also, congratulations on being so pretty successful.
Thank you so much. Now I feel like you sound like I was thinking, oh no, I'm not. I'm too busy for your podcast. It's not true. So let's make one more episode sometime. I am sure that I we are actually friends. So yeah.
I'll let you off, but only because it's you. Right. Let's get into it, right? We are going to talk about. Stop laughing. We're going to talk about e-commerce and all things e-commerce and SEO. Before we do that, a little bit of an icebreaker for you. So I would like to know, Kristina, what was the last great TV show or movie that you watched?
Uh, oh, actually, let me. It was about dreams. Where dreams with Robin Williams. Do you know this movie? This is an old movie. I think 1998.
Mm,
Yeah, it's a really sad movie. So actually, okay, so I'll tell you the real story. I love
okay.
this movie. I love this movie because you asked what I watched, but you didn't ask what I finished watching, right? So
Okay.
I know this movie and I love it. I watched it when I was much younger and I cried because it's about love, it's about losing someone. So this time, like it was actually this week, I wanted to rewatch this movie and I started watching it and 10 minutes in, I'm like crying like crazy. So because it starts with sad moments as well. So I just switched it off and decided that I find some other time where I'll be less sensitive and I'll watch it again fully. So yeah, this is the real story behind this. But other than that, I used to like different thriller movies like Servant. I'm not sure whether you know it or not, but it's like a very dark TV show. I started watching the second season. It's pretty good and chilling. Yeah, but I'll definitely get back to that movie about about dreams when I'm less sensitive.
I realized after asking that question that I don't watch a lot of movies or enough movies. So you talking about that, I was like, oh, never heard of it.
It's interesting. Like we're in the lockdown. I thought that all people are just like, what can you do? Like watch movies and TV shows.
Yeah. Anything scary, by the way, I will immediately swerve. And speaking of which, let's move straight on. So, for anyone that doesn't know about you, Kristina, do you want to give a little bit of an introduction to yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kristina Azarenko. I'm originally from Belarus. If somebody is thinking, oh, her accent doesn't sound like Canadian. Yes, it's not, but it's a unique accent and a combination of different things. So I moved to Canada almost 3 years ago, but I've been in SEO for a decade, and I started at an agency, and then I worked in house. And about A year and a half ago, I left an agency job here in Toronto and started my own consultancy. So actually, I've worked on all three different aspects: in-house, and agency, and then consultancy, which gives me a really good understanding of how things work on different levels. And though I've been doing SEO for, oh my god, many different companies, uh, even for like London School of Business and Finance, which is not e-commerce at all. But since I've done SEO for many e-commerce websites and worked for 5 years for a Magento extensions provider, I've worked with many merchants, and that's why I decided to specialize in e-commerce. And yeah, and that's the main thing what I'm doing now.
Awesome. Very interesting. So you mentioned there about the experience you've got, agency, in-house, consultancy. Did you ever have a point or a moment where you thought, "Do you know what, I want to get into SEO? Like what point did you realize that SEO was going to be the career for you?
Um, it's a really interesting question because before joining, so to say, SEO, the SEO dark side, the SEO side, I was actually working as a debt collector, and I didn't have a clue what a website was. But just one day, I decided that I needed to take an SEO course, and I did, and that's when I fell in love with SEO. So I wouldn't necessarily say that there was a time when I realized that I want to be an SEO. It was just something was guiding me to just find this course, to go through it, and then just my passion to SEO woke up, and I decided to find. I left my then job, that collector job, and I joined an agency, and that's how my career started.
Awesome. Very interesting. Debt collection to SEO. That's a great journey there. I'd love to ask you, Christine, if you could start your career all over again, but with every bit of advice and information that you know now, all the knowledge you've got now, what advice do you think that you'd give to yourself?
I'd say so. One of the main things that I realized that I started doing pretty late in my career is to share information with people, share my findings. Because one of the one of the things that stops people from doing this is that they think that they should be experts, that they should know everything in order to share their insights. But the truth is that like nobody knows everything, and again, when I started 10 years ago, SEO was just like SEO. Now it's international SEO, it's technical SEO, e-commerce SEO, and there are so many different things inside. So you can't, like, it's not possible to be an expert in everything. And also, there are also people who are just one or two steps behind you, and what you're sharing now, they can benefit from it. So if you don't share your insights, you just don't help them, right? So it's not like we all need to learn only from experts, right? So that's one of the things that I would change. I would start sharing information much earlier. Actually did have a blog many years ago in Russian, and I was sharing my information. But for then I bounded it, and for like 5 years, I was just sitting in front of my computer and thinking that what I have is not worth sharing, and that's an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you've just said has led me very nicely to my next question. So, in terms of sharing knowledge, you are doing loads and it's all really useful. I mean, even the official Google Analytics account is sharing your stuff. That's how good it is. So I wanted to ask you before we get into consultancy and e-commerce, tell me a little bit more about your course and your awesome Chrome extension.
Sure. First of all, I've been training people in different companies, junior people in different companies, a lot of times, not only junior people, but also like other SEOs. So, when I left my job in 2019, I thought, so one of the first things that I wanted to do was to create a course, so actually structure my knowledge and just put it together, shoot videos like with really nice things, give people homework, just give them transformation and show them with practice how things are done, versus I know that in many cases you'll just have what but without how, or you just have quizzes at the end of lessons. You'd have quizzes which don't really help you practice the knowledge. This is just theoretical, right? So I wanted to change this, and I wanted to also help people um, go till the end, because usually we buy course and then they never start. So that's why I started like an SEO challenge course, and now it's 45 days with all support and everything that people need, and I love it. And the second thing is the second thing. Oh, by the way, so if you want to know more about SEO challenge, it's seochallenge.co, and you'll find all the information there. And the SEO extension is called SEO Pro extension. So if you just Google just SEO Pro, you will find it on I think first position um, on Google Chrome. And I was looking for something like that for a long time. There are similar extensions, but they were missing some functionalities. So I decided to create something for me, for my clients, for my students. And I was really grateful. I was really happy and lucky that the SEO industry picked it up. And now we are almost at 6,000 downloads within like a month or
Wow.
something launching. So yeah, I'm so grateful. Yeah, I posted it on my social medias, but it's picked up, and I get so many positive messages about that. So if you want to have all the information, like SEO on page information in front of you in just one click, quickly, you can check out SEO Pro extension for Chrome. It's currently only for Chrome, but it's going to be for Firefox at some point.
Awesome. I will make sure to add those links into the show notes. And yeah, I use that extension and it is absolutely brilliant. If you don't have it already, you absolutely need to hit pause, go and get it, and then come back and listen to the rest of the episode.
Oh.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about consultancy before we go into e-commerce. So as a marketing consultant, can you share some of the things that you've learned when you've been doing consulting?
Yeah, so it's it was so hard for me to start because I've never been an entrepreneur. I've never been been a consultant before, and I never worked for myself. And for me, it was hard. And all the advice that I found was niche down and like know who your ideal client is and all this stuff. This is amazing. Like these are the right things to do, but not from the beginning. So what I realized is that it's just impossible to start with having all these answers. They are amazing answers, but you just can't have them right away. So what I realized is that it's great to start with something that you have. Try different types of clients, try different types of projects within your skill set, right? If you need to, you can widen your skill set, and only then you can actually niche down, because you'll understand who you like to work with, who you are who you bring like more success to, which clients, right? And after that you can niche down and yeah, and continue helping your clients. And another thing, what I realized is that it's really important to set the right expectations right from the beginning with clients, because sometimes I think that people confuse agencies and consultants. So if you it's not like they confuse, they can expect something from an agency, from a consultant. They can expect a pitch, a deck, like many different things that as a consultant you just like, it's not sustainable to do all of this for just to win a client. So this is something to consider as well, to have a process to finding clients, but without competing with big players, with huge agencies who actually have special people who pitch and sell and all this stuff. Yeah, I think these learnings have really helped me.
Awesome. That is really interesting. And already I know the listeners will take a lot of value from this. I wanted to ask you about e commerce specifically then. So, the focus of this episode. So, let's talk about e commerce. Do you think that the pandemic has forced businesses to invest more in the e-commerce space?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The pandemic has influenced a lot, like in general, landscape because honestly, like I don't know, in many countries and many cities it's different, but in Toronto you can't actually go to shops anywhere, and there is the capacity in the shops if they're open is low. So many businesses are just going online, and that's a really great thing because eventually, in general, we would go there, but the pandemic has just increased this pace. And I know, so one of the interesting things, like one of the examples how this is happening is um, I saw a window of one shop. It's like a small local shop here in Toronto, and they had, these stickers. So through the window, you could see different things that they were selling, and they had these big stickers on these things with the names. I don't remember the names or SKUs of these products, and they were saying on the window, go to our website and buy it online. And I feel that that's really amazing because yeah, now people can do this not in shops but online as well. And I know that many small local businesses um, also started thinking about their online presence, about selling things online. So pandemic has definitely shifted this and uh, increased the pace of this process in general.
Brilliant. So, if you could give any advice to businesses who are maybe considering a bit more investment in the e-commerce space, what would it be?
Yeah, so one of the things that I'd consider is to find the the sources, the traffic sources that will work for you first, and then to build on them. So in most of the cases, honestly, I'm an SEO, I know, but I I preach SEO, right? And for most websites, for most online stores, SEO would be a really, really great thing, even though like when they're using ads. And for example, I had a few clients coming to me this week, and they were saying, "Oh, actually, like we are so so dependent on Facebook ads." And Apple, as far as we remember, Apple is changing something, or something is changing, and it will be much harder to get this ads on Facebook and Instagram. Maybe for iOS devices, I'm not sure. I don't remember actually, but there were two clients who were talking about that, and they were like they were getting scared that they are too dependent on Facebook. So what if something happens? So what if your account is disabled, for example? Then you don't have any sales. So I'd say that if you want to invest this year, I would definitely invest in SEO in addition to like other sources that you might have. One more thing is to have a brand. Also, when I see companies coming to me and they sell just, for example, I don't know, pens, like you can buy them anywhere, these specific pens, they don't have any brand behind them, any community, any social I don't know, social community, social profiles, nothing of that. This will be tricky to sell as well. So definitely build a brand and invest in different traffic sources, including SEO 100%.
Another brilliant answer. Thank you very much. And I was just thinking there, your point about pens and you can get them anywhere, excuse me, leads me very nicely to my next question. So, from the outside looking in, e-com is a crowded space, right? So, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you've seen businesses make?
Yeah, so as I said, like not building a brand because there should something should stand behind your products. And also in terms of in general, in terms of website, they don't really think about how customers get to this website. They think only in terms of, oh, when they are already there, they will buy this, they will go there, but they don't think how to actually get them to the website. And that's one of the things where SEO can help. because honestly, most of the companies that come, like you just quickly check their title tags, and they're in 99% they are just not optimized at all. And one of the things that I see as well, I don't do email marketing, but I usually still ask my clients about the general marketing process, because SEO is part of marketing. It's not just something standalone. So I want to make sure that I understand what they are doing. I understand how their marketing looks like. And what I find is that not all of them collect emails of their customers, and even if they do, they don't use them for further marketing, for upselling, for maybe selling some more uh, advice. For example, if you sell skin products, like, I don't know, something like that, you can have you can send tips weekly or monthly or whatever, something that will help you to communicate with your potential customers and stay in the loop with them. So this really surprises me when I see that companies don't utilize this, I'd say, a really low hanging fruit of using email marketing for the e-commerce businesses.
Awesome. So you touched on customers then. So I wanted to sort of change tack a little bit. So we've talked about e-com, we've talked about businesses. What about customers and consumers? What types of behavior change have you noticed from consumers as a result of the pandemic?
Yeah, well, first of all, again, now people mostly mostly go online, and what's important is that people want everything quickly, and they um now, even more than before, need to know everything about, okay, what's what about the delivery dates? What about, like, shipping? How much will it be? How long will it take to get, and all this stuff? Because honestly, there are not so many things to do when you're in lockdown, and when you order something, you want this quick, right? So I'd say this is in general the demand, the level that of service that people expect has increased. So it means that e-commerce websites, online stores, and it's not only about online stores, to be honest, but in general, it should increase as well. Yeah, so retaining customers and maybe even using personalization on your catalog, this will help a lot to win the customer's attention and to win sales ultimately.
Absolutely brilliant. I was about to start making notes then, but then I realized I'm going to listen back to this anyway. Sadly, we are coming nearly to the end of this episode, which is a shame because I could literally talk to you for hours. But if there were a few things that you wanted people to take away from this episode, let's say like up to three, what do you want people to take away who are listening? What things do you want them to take away from this episode?
Yeah, so I'd say one of the things is that SEO is not going anywhere. And if you are an online store, or if you have a client like, for example, you're doing paid ads, and you're in charge of marketing for this client, talk about SEO as well, because this is something that has helped many businesses to stay on a really good level throughout the pandemic. Because if they invested before, it means that they had this traffic coming in, instead of just throwing all the money into paid ads. I love paid ads, but they are like, this is a combination. You can use both. The second thing is that if you are an SEO, especially if you're just, like, I don't know, green SEO, if you are in your first years, in your first years of SEO, don't think that you're and especially if you're already, like, mature SEO, don't think that your point, your opinion, your findings are not worth sharing, because this is people think about it like that too often. And I find that yeah, we just need more great people that share insights. And the third thing, um Let me think. It's interesting. I am not sure. Um, I don't even know. Why would be the third thing? Azim, what would be the third thing?
Listen to this podcast and update your knowledge. So awesome. Thanks for saying that, Christine. I really appreciate that. I'll send you some Canadian dollars shortly.
Please send yes because there will be more Canadian in US dollars because of the conversion rate. We talked about that.
We did actually, yeah. Listen, thanks very much for taking the time out. Appreciate you're very busy. I'm not happy it's taken this long to get you, but I'm going to take it anyway. So thanks very much. If people wanted to get in touch with you, like on social media or follow you, what's the best way that they can get in contact with you?
So I'm very active on Twitter. I'm Azarchik there, so Azarchick. Yes. And if you want to get in touch with me, my website is Marketing Syrup, like maple syrup, but marketing syrup. And I'm sure when you go there, you'll find your way to contact me.
Brilliant. Thank you once again, my friend, for taking the time out and sharing some incredible wisdom. I expected no less. As always, I am going to shut up now and leave the final word on your episode of this podcast all to you. So take it away.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really, really enjoyed it. I love your podcast in general, and I'm really happy that you invited me here. And hey, everyone, just have a really, really, really great day or night. I don't know when you're listening to this, but honestly, we're all in this together, no matter how it sounds. And lockdown is hard, but we are going to go through this. And the greatest thing is that if you're listening this after the lockdown is over, then you know that everything is amazing.
So that was another great episode in the bag. I'm really enjoying hearing from some brilliant people in this industry. If you enjoyed this podcast, please follow me on Spotify. Please leave a rating on Apple Podcasts or whichever platform you are using. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and hopefully see you for the next episode.